When I was mowing earlier today, I noticed that all my posts are still up nice and straight. And some of these posts have been in the ground, been installed 5-6 years. So I wanted to do a video to show, or at least explain how I put my post in, because it may help somebody else out there. I learned a lot of my tricks from older farmers who, through trial and error or through the generations ahead of them, learned the tricks of the trade as to how to install posts to keep them upright. You have three basic types of posts. You have your corner post, you have brace post, which are on either side of your corner post, and then you have line post. And those line posts are just standalone. They don't have any bracing or any additional post strapped to them. Corner post, I normally use telephone poles or light poles. Some people call them power poles. If you get older ones, more likely than not, they're creosote treated. The newer ones are also professionally treated and last a good long while. I've got some poles here on the farm that have inspection stickers that are 40 or 50 years ago. So those posts are 40 to 50 years old, and they're still in really good shape. The hearts are still very solid, and the posts actually are in really good shape, and I use them for fence posts, or corner posts, that is. When I take a post like this, I normally cut it in a length of 10 foot, and you can't tell it, so let me walk up here and show you. But this post is approximately 11.5 inches across. This is a big post. I think the bottom of that post, if I recall correctly, is about 13 to 14 inches across. So that post is 10 foot long in total. Now there's only about 5.5 feet of it above ground. So there's 4.5 feet of that post in the ground. And I normally set my corner post between 4 and 5 feet deep. Now some people will say, why in the world do you put a post in the ground that deep? Well, the primary reason is because it's going to bear a pretty substantial load in once you stretch that woven wire, which is going to pull on that post 24/7. So I put my posts in the ground that deep to keep them from turning over or moving. I have an auger attachment for my Caterpillar 304 excavator, and let me tell you, if you have a farm, you need to buy an auger attachment, whether it's for your tractor, your skid steer, your excavator, whatever you use. You need to make sure that you buy an auger attachment. It will save you an inordinate amount of time over the years. But I drill my holes 4 to 5 feet deep, and then I get my post in using a boom pole on my tractor. And then I level my post up, get them nice and straight and plumb, and then I hand tamp the dirt 8 to 10 inches at a time. So you put 3 or 4 shovelfuls of dirt in the hole, you pack it. 3 or 4 more shovelfuls of dirt, you pack it. 3 or 4 more shovelfuls of dirt, and you pack it. That way, as you're coming up and filling the hole up, every layer of dirt is good and tight and packed. And that'll keep your corner post in a good spot for a long time. It's a little bit of cumbersome, it's aggravating, but it's a great workout, and it will also ensure that your posts are nice and tight and packed into the hole. Some people will use concrete. I don't like concrete in my fence post holes for several reasons. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, it's aggravating to have to mix it as you're moving around your fence. Number three, once you cement a post in, when you hit it with a tractor or a tree hits it, or you hit it with a piece of equipment other than your tractor like an excavator or something, a cemented post is going to be a nightmare to set back up straight without knocking the concrete off. Whereas a post is packed in around dirt, 9 times out of 10 you can stand it back up straight and repack it by hand. So those are the reasons I don't use any cement. But once you pack that corner post in and get it good and tight in the hole, then you pull 2 strings. You pull a top string and a bottom string all the way to your next corner post, whether it's 75 feet or 750 feet. And you run those strings top to bottom all the way down, both courses. And if your posts are plumb, if they're level, then your strings from top to bottom should be level, and that makes it a lot easier to set all the posts in between. Your second post that you set is your brace post right here. And then you've got your cross piece. And that cross piece, you can look at videos online. Usually I use a landscaping spike. I'll cut it with a grinder wheel and leave it about 4 to 6 inches long. And you drill a hole in your corner post, drill a hole in the end of the cross piece, do the same on the brace post. Go ahead and mount this end, and then when you put your brace post in the hole, your hole should be big enough to allow you to lean it back and then you mount the cross piece to the brace post and then set it up straight and then pack your brace post in, and that does your H brace there. Now, a brace post is nothing more than a lever, lever, whatever you want to call it. It's a simple machine. And some people you will see run their cross pieces up here at the top. But I don't do that, because you lose all the mechanical advantage that you have when it's like this and it's in an H brace fashion. This is your fulcrum. And for my middle school science teacher, she's going to be very happy right now because I remember this stuff. This is your fulcrum. This is where your lever or lever is anchored. This is your load, because what is this brace post doing? It's pushing on this cross piece and applying all the pressure and all the work to this corner post so this corner post does not move. Because this fence all the way to my right and all the way to the left is pulling on that corner post. It wants it to move one way or the other, but we don't want it to. So the load that's on this cross piece is keeping that corner post, is helping it stay up straight. And then you've got your work or your effort being done up here. So you have your fulcrum, your load, and your effort. And if I remember, I think that's called a class 2 lever or lever, depending on how you want to say it. Now you have to forget the bird poop on this post, forgive me, but this is where your brace wire is hooked that is applying all your effort or your work. And it runs down to the bottom of your corner post. And you tighten it and keep it good and tight with this little device here, which is just nothing more than a fence ratchet. Then you put a adjustable wrench on it and you can tighten it up and it locks, and it's got basically positions in it that'll lock in on that little rusty clip there. They cost a few dollars a piece. They're worth it. They make it nice and neat. Now, some people will take those two brace wires and they'll put a stick in between it and they'll twist it, and that's fine. You can do that. That's not a problem at all for the function of the lever or the function of the work. But I like these because they keep your wires separated and they don't tie it around your cross piece. So if you have to replace that cross piece, you don't have to undo your wire that much. You can just cut the metal out and respike it in another way. But anyway, once you get your brace post in, and you apply all your work at the top and the load is maximized here, you have from here to here, the mechanical advantage is so much greater than if your load was moved up to the top right where your work was being done. And I don't remember all the formulas. There are formulas for all this stuff, but the mechanical advantage in that section of fence post right there compounds the effort or work that you're applying up here, which increases the load pressure that you're putting or can move. And then your fulcrum is your constant at the bottom, which holds everything in place. So a good H brace is wonderful on a fence line. It keeps the corner post nice and tight and snug and keeps it in place. And then once you've got your H braces in, then you put your line post in. And I'm gonna walk this way because the sun's shining. It's kind of funny this afternoon. It's a bad time of day to be doing this. But your line posts are put in same way, 3 to 4 feet in the ground. You hand pack them in down at the bottom, and that helps you keep your line posts in spot. Now I'm going to go down here at the end and look down this fence line, and if you notice, that wire is perfectly on the inside of the line post, but it goes around the outside of your corner angle, which helps bear that load down on the angle for the corner post, and the H braces keep that corner post in place. So installing fence is not that difficult. The most important thing you can do is to read the manufacturer's recommendations on the wire, and I'll do another video on that later. But the posts are the key to it. It doesn't matter how nice a fence you put up, if your posts are not done the right way, your fence will fall down and your animals will get out and it will not be good. So I recommend that you take the time and sink your post a little bit more than you probably think you need to, embrace them a little bit more than you need to or think you need to, and do everything a little bit overkill. It doesn't cost any more money. In fact, if you do it this way, it costs less money because you don't use the concrete, you don't use all the fancy gadgets that they have. It's just as good old-fashioned sweat equity in your fence, and you end up with a really nice fence that'll last you a long time. All right, more later.